Greetings and welcome to my video on the Seven Sun Worlds Protocol. Thoth has told me, or rather shown me in a way, how these world systems he is describing as suns are sort of internal holograms. That is, each one of them has a circumference, has an energy expectation within the body. Now, we see it also as something that's happening to our physical, real world sun, our solar sun, but that is only an outpicturing of the internal mechanism of what he's calling these world suns that are nested, I guess you would say, within the universal chakric system that we contain within us. Now, we know about the chakras, especially the seven, beginning with the base and going up to the crown. That is basically the chakra formation that holds us in place in this reality dynamic of the hologram that we are consensually experiencing. However, there is another format of chakra systems of the seven, we're not going to try to go outside of that right now, that identifies as the world suns. And this system is placed differently. It's not localized so that we can say, oh, well, this chakra's in my left elbow. We can't look at it that way. It is in the energy potential or exponential reality that we contain in our energy system as an incarnated human being, but extends outward from that and connects to all other persons' energy system beings, and further into the universal node, or you might say chakra oversoul to call it something, that connects all of us to our universal holographic projection. I know that's a mouthful. I'm doing the best I can here, trying to explain something that is really beyond much of our scope of verbal understanding. I'm hoping to impart this to you in a deeper way, just by sort of rambling on about this, that you might be able to experience it on this deeper level. Thoth refers to these seven suns as worlds. You could call them stages of ascension, or moving toward that platform of ascension that we attempt to understand as such. But it really kind of falls short, because these are 3D full holographic fields, each one of these seven suns. Now, we will see certain aspects of this, the major aspects of it, externalize in our field of reference with our sun, our earth, and we're already seeing pieces of many of these stages intermixed in our lives and our world now. And each one of the suns will have a world experience that will focalize us. We will say, oh, it's happening. The black sun is happening. The yellow sun, yeah, that's where we are, but now we see the black sun converging on it. Or now we're experiencing the blue sun. And as a world expression, we will internalize these things as we experience them in a sort of metaphorical ideology. But we will not truly understand them from that perspective, because in truth they are the internal frequency where the soul and the incarnated personality, energy bodies, etc., comes to understand the various stages of frequency that we experience in our incarnated holographic realm. We experience them individually and we experience them collectively. So how do we develop a protocol that allows us to know this more fully? Because as we know it more fully, if we have the gnosis of it, so we can more completely embrace it, as indeed we must, on our path to full ascension consciousness, and thus new Earth Star World System 2 alignment and full experience of that. Not only individually, but as a collective whole. Because when we cross the threshold, the Shambhala Gate threshold, as Thoth calls it, into the new Earth Star realm, which is World System 2, a World System 2 platform, all of this other disappears. Right now we can have both. We can be in our little comfy zone of, oh my gosh, isn't this awful, but hey, it's home. And then the sparks, the moments of gnosis of the other. And we go, oh, that feels so good. But we can't maintain it, can we? We always come back to our little home base of life as it is. And that's not so bad because we are developing creatures. And the solution is still being poured in the pan. So we're still in the pan, but we're getting little baths of this marvelous cinematic color synthesis in our world as we develop it and take it into the next stage, or the next, perhaps I don't even want to say stage, I want to say next platform. Well, before we reach that platform, we're being absorbed into the Pyramidus Radius matrix, because that's the place where we get all buffed up, should I say, for the new Earth Star. So it is in the matrix of the new Earth Star. I've got so many words in my head here, of the Pyramidus Radius, where these pyramids are going to form, each one representing one of the world's suns. And these pyramids are holographic zones, where each one of these pyramids has its own zone, its own pyramid, where we will be able to experience fully and deeply that world hologram. Because the new Earth Star is all 7 of them, creating an 8th octave. And the 8th octave is where Thoth comes from, because he's always said to me, way back in time, he told me he was an 8th octave frequency being. Now that doesn't mean that when we hit the new Earth Star we'll all be like Thoth. I wish, but that's not what I'm perceiving. We'll be a lot better off than we are now, but we won't be Thoth, because that type of being, Thoth, Osiris, whatever, they are even beyond World System 2 platforms. However, we will contain the basic world holograms that he's promoting here as the suns, the 7 suns. And that will be our 8th octave frequency that allows us an experiential knowing of that frequency. Thoth is expanded far, far beyond that in the whole 8th octave. It's like there's stages of the octaves, okay? You know, this is so deep, it's really hard to talk about. My little brain freezes. But we will have an 8th octave node within us when we go into the New Earth Star, which we don't now. We won't be entire 8th octave beings like he is, but we will have that node. And that will allow us to see, feel, experience beings like Thoth right there in front of us, touch them, shake their hands, give them a big hug. I mean, they will be in our frequency zone. They can leave that and go on to their greater worlds, but they will be able to connect to us. It's like the little, you know, the little computer chip that allows us to experience them on that level. I'm going to give you a very simple, basic protocol. This is only intended to start you off because you're the mover and shaker here. It is your world, your hologram, and the intention is that you take this and create or build onto it your own protocol. It doesn't have to be some stiff, rigid thing. Each time it can be a little different. Maybe you stick to this for a while and then suddenly it starts changing. However it works for you is the important thing. So you would begin, first of all, you need your set of 7 images that you need to print out in color. You don't have to have them laminated. That just allows them to work with their hands easier and not wear out so fast. But at least print them off in color copies that, you know, big enough that you can really kind of see them. They look simple, but actually I took several hours creating each one of them because they're very deliberately, I feel, encoded with the right energies, the colors, the spacing, the symbols, all of that. And so you have your set of cards. And then you need your text file that I've included on the page, the portal page on the 7 suns. And that are rich text format, RFT doc. That one contains just the basic information about each sun, as you see on the oracle. You know, it's the same information, but it's easier for you to access. You've got it right in front of you. So then you have sort of a crude set of cards, so to speak, because you've got the cards and the information, not in a beautifully compiled deck, because that would cost me thousands of dollars, but at least you have it present for you. Now, you're not going to be using this as an oracle. I mean, you can, the oracle on the portal is a good thing. You can play with it, and I think you'll get a lot out of it if you do the protocol first. If you get into the field of that referencing, then the oracle can serve you. Otherwise, it's just not that much to it. The idea is to get into that field of reference within the protocol, as I said. So now you have your tools, and then you need to create a space for yourself in your imagination. But, you know, if you don't want to sit in an area that's all scrunched up with books and computers and stuff like I am right now, you want to sit somewhere where you have some little space around you, you know, several feet, 4 or 5 feet around you, so you're not all scrunched up with things in your space. And going outside would be great if you want to do it there. You don't have to use the same place every time. But you need to be able to either sit or stand. You can stand for this. Now, let's say you begin with the black sun, the first card, and you do want to go down in the order of procession, beginning with the black, then the yellow, etc., down that way. So you take the black sun, you read about it, you look at the image, you read about it, you look at the image. So you feel like, oh, okay, I'm really kind of getting this, I'm feeling it. And I want you to move into the image and say, what is this speaking to you? Not in an intellectual way, but in a heart-sensing, feeling-sensing way. And when you feel you've gotten in touch with the words in the image, what they're really imparting to you, the message it's giving you, then you can put all that down, close your eyes and picture yourself at the center of a geodesic sphere. Now, I don't know what I really mean by that. It's the outside of it would be round, a sphere, but the inside would be like a 7-pointed sphere. I don't know what that's called, a septad or something. I don't know my geometry here. But, you don't have to get too acute on this, but just, think of it as a geometry that you're inside a sphere. And it's a 7-fold geometry, even if you just think that. And in that space, you begin to see the lights, the colors, the symbols, the feeling, the sound of a black sun world, your black sun world. Don't crowd it with a bunch of stuff and you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I'm not getting anything. Don't worry about it. Just be in the black sun world. You're at the center of your hologram of the black sun. This is a process. It's not going to just happen overnight for most of you. And you don't need to take, I would suggest that you work with it, the black sun, just the black sun, for as long as it takes, just not long each time you're doing it. I would say don't spend any more than 10 minutes with it. 15 tops if you really feel like you're going for it. You can spend even 5 minutes on it, but 10 is sort of a good number for that. 7 maybe. But do it consistently every day. And when you build up to a point where you are seeing, feeling, experiencing your black sun hologram, and you feel you've got it, whatever that means to you, then you can move on to the yellow sun and do the same with that. Now, you would think the yellow sun would be first because it's the world we're in now. But Thoth very specifically wanted the black sun first because he said, in order to grasp everything in between the black and the white, you need to start with the black and end with the white. So that's what we're doing. Then you go to the yellow sun, and then when you've got that, you move down the line. Now, this is a very simple formula. But remember, once you've moved through them all, you might wish to start again with a new protocol, one that suits you, or build onto that one. Or you might wish to build onto it right away. If you're really gung-ho and it's all working for you, why not build onto it the first time round? In other words, do it the way it feels best to you. But don't just say, okay, I've done all the suns. I did exactly what Maya said. Now I'm through. I would suggest that if you've done just what I said and gone through it, that you need to do more. You need to go back to the first, the black sun, and start working with your own protocol. You don't have to figure it out in your head. Just ask to receive it and see what moves through. What do you want to do with that sphere of reality? How do you want to see it? How do you want to experience it? Because you've already gone through the base level. Now move it an octave higher. So that's my suggestion in working with the protocols. I hope to be bringing forth more on the black suns, the 7 suns, and their relationship to the elixir mundi, because there is a very strong relationship there, in the regard of how the suns align in this suprachakra formation, because that suprachakra formation is inside, nested within your internal Merkaba, 5-star David, which in the center is the Areopax. So here's your Elixis Mundi envelope that you can see how the 7 suns work within it, in your body, in your energy form, and then in the world. So that's another video or written work or both, I don't know. But I'm saying this is where it's leading. But right now, just start with the basics and let it carry you forward. So I'm going to conclude this entire video by placing a little bit of an activational thing. You know, my shtick, what I do with the images, just to kind of bring you into the field, into the experience of it, and let it sort of, you know, move through you. You might want to play that part or maybe all of this video again several times so you've really got that feeling. And so here we go. I forgot to include just one more thing before we go into the last part of the video, and that is to realize that all of these things I've been speaking about are all working together. They're different parts of the whole. So we can also include the Osiri corpus in this, the creating of the body, the platform for the pure gem body, and all that's going on in the island of the sun, with the Elixis Mundi, and with the Seven Sun World Protocol. So it's all fitting together, and as we go along, more and more you will see how it fits together as we piece it together piece by piece. Okay, that's what I wanted to say.